We got on the train in Amsterdam and we rode to Cologne, where we are now, or Köln, as they say in the German. K-O with the umlaut, L-M. That's the train station, and now this is called the Dom. It is the signature structure here in Cologne. I don't know how old it is, and I don't know a lot about it. But we got off the train and got out of the station, and it's right here. So you're going to get a look at it. I don't speak German, but that Santander is a bank. When I had the loan on the RV, it got bought by Santander or merged or something, and they were the payee at the end until I paid it off. So here you go. It occurred to me that I may not have gotten any of the train stations on film. Here's the Köln or Cologne station. It's not as it's big, but it isn't as big as the one in London, for example, or some of the other ones that we've gone to. The one in Amsterdam wasn't exactly tiny either. So here's what the train station looks like. We're waiting for our 12:01 train. Our first stop of the day, which I think is Tuesday. We kind of lose track of the days after a while. We're in Bingen, Germany, along the Rhine River. We rode an hour on the train up from Koblenz, and we're going to take about a 3.5-hour boat ride downriver, down the Rhine River, back to Koblenz. We're going to rent a car, and then we're going to drive to Remagen, where the famous bridge at Remagen, where the Allied troops, where American troops held the bridge to have a crossing point for the heavy armor and the armies over the Rhine River, which is now in back of me as I make our 360. Our tickets for this cost about 41 euros a piece. So things are expensive here in Europe. It's not a cheap trip, but you know, if you come here and you don't spend the money, then why come here at all? And there's already one of our first castles that we're going to see. This is the most castled part of the Rhine River, is my understanding. So we're going to see a number of castles like this one right here on the trip. So we're waiting for the 9:30 boat, and there you have it. On this side of the river, we have vineyards that go right up the side of the hill in this old historic town. Koblenz, where we're staying, is an old Roman town, as they just told us. This part of the Rhine River Valley is a UNESCO World Heritage Site because of the scenery, historical castles and vineyards and stuff. Here we have a castle, another one yet on the Rhine, with a little campground or RV park right here on the Rhine River. This is really nice. Notice that the RVs aren't nearly as big as they are in America, and they're called caravans. I don't know what the German is, but this is like the highest concentration of coaches that we've seen. So here we are still on the Rhine, cruising back to Koblenz. A little chilly today. I should have brought a jacket. I didn't want to lug it around all day, and I'm suffering now. So here you have it. We took the train, and the train stopped at a bunch of these little towns or villages along the way. This is not a direct boat to Koblenz. It'll stop at some more places along the way. We should be getting back into Koblenz. Mark points out that this guy here in the boat has been trying to get around us. So now there's a white spot in the river. He's going to put the bulldog hat on and bulldog us. So there you go. Let's wave at him. Hi, tourists. This castle right here is a Romanesque castle. And there's a mine right here. Isn't that scenic? Or a quarry, I should say, is more of an opportune, but it's the same difference. Here's a barge with coal going upriver. George had commented earlier in the day that the Rhine is similar to the Mississippi in the historical value and the cultural value of the river. So here you go. And yet another little village on the banks of the Rhine. And over on the other side of the river, we have some more vineyards going right up the side of the hill.
Castle on the Rhine. On the other side of the river, at the mouth of the Vispertan Valley, lies the town of Rhine with the Nordic ruins. The Rheingau region ends in Lorsch on the right-hand side. From here, the wine-growing district of the Middle Rhine begins. Somewhat downstream, and to the left of the ship.
The weather had chased George and I into the enclosed area of the boat, but we're about a half an hour or 45 minutes away from docking, and we thought we'd come out. The sun's shining, it's afternoon. This castle is 450 feet up from the river. And you see yet some more caravans. Here's the statue at the corner, it's called, at the corner of the Mosel, excuse me, and the Rhine River. This was a Prussian town as well as a Roman town. I think the Prussians built the fort. We're going to give you a 360 of the little point right here. You see across the Mosel, the campground. We've seen 4 or 5 campgrounds right along the river right here on our 3-hour tour. A 3-hour tour. And a shot of the fort. And here we are. And there's Shannon, taking pictures, like a shameless tourist. Our next stop after the Deutsche Eck, which means German corner, where we were taking the film of Wilhelm, finds us in the little town of Remagen along the Rhine River. And the famous bridge at Remagen, where in World War II it was the last bridge not blown up by the Germans on their retreat across the Rhine. And there was a dynamite on the bridge and ready to be blown up, and the Americans arrived, cut the wires, and saved the bridge. At least for a few days, and we got some armor and some troops over, and then the Corps of Engineers had built a temporary bridge over the Rhine, and we went on to win the war, at least on our side of it. Of course, you never hear about how many Russians and Germans fought, not in our history anyway. Anyway, here we are. Here is our fancy rent-a-car for 9 days. It's an honest-to-God BMW. Here, it's not the ultra she car as it is, as they try to sell it in America. We don't see that many BMWs. We see a lot more Mercedes. Even our cab today was a Mercedes minivan. So it's a diesel, which I don't think I've ever hardly seen in America, a BMW diesel. It's got pretty good pickup. It doesn't sound like a diesel. And I need to figure out how to put the seat back. But outside of that, it's an interesting car, and I'll get used to it. And there you go.